The frail girl, panic-stricken, discovered she was locked inside a container, with another girl similarly bound in an adjacent container. Both were down to their underwear, paralyzed with fear. As they desperately called for help, a man approached stealthily, an evil grin on his face, taunting that no one could hear them even if they screamed their lungs out. He had even provided an outdoor bathing setup for them, along with a change of clothes and mattresses piled inside the container, urging them to wash up quickly to prepare for visitors. Terrified for their lives, the sisters obediently complied. At that moment, a voluptuous police officer crept closer, gun in hand. The sisters urgently signaled to her as she swiftly shielded them from the traffickers, who raised their hands in surrender. Unexpectedly, the plump officer smirked, revealing a grin at his feet. The portly, middle-aged officer, in a bid to achieve efficiency, doubled down. Out of nowhere, a potent capsule appeared, and the two journalists were shoved into the huge metal box. In under 10 seconds, the officer left, seemingly satisfied. For first-timers, it was heart-wrenching, yet more insanity awaited. The following day, they entertained an odd guest, a bearded man who fancied Bahal. When he arrived, Bahal, indignant, spat at him, unknowingly sparking his anger. He slapped her, violently lifted her shirt, pressing a cigarette into her skin, leaving Anna outside trembling from the painful screams. Assuming madness had peaked, chilling howls echoed from the forest. Hooded by criminals, they were warned of mortal danger if removed. Soon, a thuggish brute blocked their path. As the hood vanished, the sisters were terrified. The brute chose the louder Bahal, and as she struggled, she noticed a cross-shaped scar on his arm before a surge of power overwhelmed her. They pushed her out, locked her in the iron box, and as the chains clanked, a haunting noise reverberated. The pig-headed man signaled retreat soon after, prompting Anna to comfort a tearful Bahal. Realizing the danger, Anna knew they couldn't wait for Borisi to find them the next day. Under pressure, she reluctantly shared a secret code with their uncle, Brother Chiang. This unassuming code made Chiang realize his nieces were in trouble. They had planned to daily check in using this code during National Day. Alarmed, Chiang set out to find them and reported to the local police. There, a round officer unexpectedly greeted him, and upon discovering who the officer was, Chiang grew anxious but chatted casually to avoid detection. The officer, however, leaked information to the criminals, naming Anna and Bahal as targets for their next act, and planned to eliminate them afterward. Anna overheard their plans and knew she had to escape. They soon left Senor Luosihu, an unstable man, to guard her and her sister. Sensing his instability, Anna provoked him, biting his neck when he was unguarded. Together, the sisters freed themselves from their handcuffs. A plump officer arrived but found only the bearded man's corpse. The sisters had already escaped in his police car, fueling his anger. Determined to catch them, he used all his resources. The sisters planned to flee quickly, but stumbled upon two hitchhiking girls. Remembering their past ordeal with strangers, they didn't want others to suffer like they did, so they embarked on a mission of vengeance. The sisters went to the hardware store and bought tools like hammers, nails, and axes, along with a lawnmower. They tipped the shopkeeper well and got Boris's address. As Boris entered his house, loud music played, signaling the start of the sisters' revenge. Anna swung a bat, hitting Boris in the eyes, showing their hatred with sharp nails on the bats. Punches landed on Boris, just the beginning. Tied face down, Boris realized he was in trouble and tried to bribe them. Anna opened a box with $200,000 and a gun, but the sisters were ruthless. They extracted the hideout of the pig-headed man and attacked him with the spiked bat. His screams were heard by Chiang, who rushed in with his gun. By the time he arrived, the sisters had already escaped. Boris had died. After handling his affairs, the sisters pursued the pig-headed man, arriving at a church and spotting his tattoo on an old man's arm, identical to the man's who harassed them. They realized he was the pig-headed man. Shockingly, he was disguised as a priest. Boma burst into the church with a baseball bat. The priest feared she would expose him. His intimidating tactics failed when Anna struck him with the bat, and they tied him to a car, dragging him along the road for miles, as if towing something. A blaze annihilated the villain, spurring the sisters to avenge the rotund officer. But the cop and Brother Chiang were currently getting along. After comprehending the case's intricacies, Brother Chiang called Anna's phone, hoping to contact the nieces. Astonishingly, it rang in the officer's pocket, and Brother Chiang quickly pieced everything together, yet remained helpless. The officer detained Brother Chiang, ready to relish his new victim, clueless that Anna and her sister had silently sneaked in. Just as the officer turned ruthless trafficker poised to harm, little sister, a former victim, struck a hard blow with a stick. Upon waking, the officer, tied to a chair, realized the twins were his attackers. Quick-witted, he pleaded, claiming a hefty bank sum, but the enraged sisters, recalling past humiliations, were unforgiving. They began confronting him aggressively. Anna played a daring game, using clenched fists, having the chubby policeman guess where the bullet was. Her mind raced, randomly pointing, finding an empty hand. Lady Luck smiled on the case. Boma then had him guess the matchstick's location. This time, his luck ran out, as he guessed right. Gloating, Boma explained that 5 matches translated to 1 bullet, meaning he'd face 5 shots. If he dodged, he'd be spared. The officer's heart pounded, clinging to hope, as he faced a gun. But fortune reigned, as the gun didn't fire after 5 tries. Just as he breathed a sigh of relief, it was revealed to be a dark prank by 2 sisters intending to torment him before making him pay. Their plan included the twins eventually freeing Brother Chiang, moving on to a bigger showdown. Their target was a family of 3 who'd once kidnapped them. Swiftly, they leapt into a car, setting off. They subdued the old woman with drugs and tied her to a chair. In a flash, they saw their little darling hanging, the old woman trembling. He pleaded for his child's safety, yet the sisters stayed calm, unfazed by the cruel woman who enjoyed kidnapping. Before her eyes, they relentlessly beat her son. This drove her mad, cursing the sisters, who remained unfazed. The real thrill awaited. They pushed her to her eldest son and tossed him a bat, offering his life if he'd kill her. Humanity lingered in him. He couldn't do it. Kneeling, he begged the sisters, yet was ultimately shot. The sisters cleverly staged it as a gang dispute, with the leader impulsively committing the murder. Witnessing Qingzi's brutal murder was tragic, causing immense grief and cries. As the sisters moved to act, the old lady tried to buy her life with money. Learning of the treasure's location, Anna used a lawnmower to cut the old lady in 2. As the film ended, Jiang Ge helped the sisters resolve matters peacefully. They took the villain's money and flew to China, enjoying the 144-hour visa-free transit. The next movie promises to be even more thrilling.